here. I have also the drafts script. Hold on a second. All right, so I'd like to open the meeting for the Town of Needham Conservation Commission, Thursday, April the 8th, 2021. My name is Peter Olkers. I'm Vice Chair of the Needham Conservation Commission, sitting in for Janet Bernardo, who is here, but has requested me to administer this meeting. So before we begin, let me run through the script for remotely conducted open meetings. As a preliminary matter, this is Peter Olkers, Conservation Commission Vice Chair. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Artie.
Here.
Janet.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Sue.
Here.
Stephen.
Here.
All right, very good. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Debbie.
Here.
Clay.
Here.
And anticipated speakers on the agenda, please respond in the affirmative. I do have a list of the people who are supposed to be here tonight. Susan MacArthur.
Here.
Tim Paris.
He won't be joining us.
Mark Harding.
Here.
Simon Chadwick.
Here.
And Diane Simonelli. I thought I saw Diane. Is she not here?
Does not look like she's here yet.
Okay, so may have to delay just a slight if we get through the Brookside hearing quickly. All right, but I have more to read. Good evening. This open meeting of the Town of Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we've been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For this meeting, the Needham Conservation Commission is convening by Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. The general public is allowed and encouraged to ask questions during the meeting when directed by the commission chair and through the use of the raise hand feature associated with the Zoom meeting app. Those that have questions or comments regarding a particular hearing will be called upon in the order they raise their hand, so please be patient. All supporting materials have been provided to members of this body and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. The chair will introduce each hearing on the agenda. I will introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin their project presentation. After they conclude their presentation, the chair will go down the list of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment or questions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not talking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. All right, thank you very much. We are now turning to the agenda for tonight. Miscellaneous business, so we didn't have minutes, is that right?
I didn't quite get them finished, but you'll have at least 3 sets for next meeting.
Awesome.
Oh.
Any enforcement or violation updates?
No.
All right, we can move right along then. So there are 2 hearings on the schedule for tonight. We will open the first one, 94 Brookside Road, DEP file number 234861. This is a continued notice of intent. And Susan and Mark are here to talk about this. I understand, well, I saw you submitted new plans.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Peter. Would it be okay if I shared my screen?
Please.
Okay. All right, so this is the revised plan that I had sent in. And as you can see, can everyone see this first of all on the screen? So this is the 25-foot buffer zone. And the commission at the last hearing requested that we plant within the buffer zone and not just restore the, well, there was some debate on if it was formerly lawn, and I think a long time ago it was maintained lawn, but it hadn't been maintained in quite some time. But they had requested that we do some plantings within the 25-foot buffer zone. And so we have proposed to plant 12 high bush blueberry bushes, 2 feet high approximately. So we've removed, there's still, I might add, the other tree plantings, 9, 3 pin oak, 3 gray birch, and 3 red maple. And those are on the fringes of the maintained area, I should say. But we moved the shrubs, so they're all going to be within the 25-foot buffer zone.
Very good. So everything in the back yard is going to be the shrubs. Those are the blueberries, and those are within the fence.
Within the fence, right?
And on the part of which was sort of legal lawn, sort of grandfathered lawn, but we had requested that you maintain some distance between the lawn itself and these planting and the wetland. So that's why these plantings are there.
Right.
And then the trees are planted really on the side, on the
right. Right. They're the circles down below. It's hard to see, but they have like RM, red maple, PO, pin oak. So yes, but they are on the fringes. There's a few up in this little,
front.
Yeah, this little pocket here.
Okay, very good. So let me go around to commissioners and see who has any questions. So I'll start with Janet.
I am just curious if there was a discussion on the car that was being removed and how that was going to happen.
I believe at the last hearing, the car will be removed, and I believe at the last hearing, Deb was going to put a condition in the order to basically say we have to figure out the means and methods, but not to gouge out the earth by dragging it out. You know, maybe put it on a skid or something like that. But
Okay, so that was discussed, and maybe you just cut it up and take it
or
out.
perhaps cut it up. Right, exactly. Yep.
And will there be another fence, or is the existing fence being replaced, or what's happening with the fence?
The existing fence where it is now is going to stay. There is a section over near where my cursor is that has been knocked down, and that was during the fire. The fire kind of got away from it started to get in toward the marsh. So the firemen broke the fence down to put it out. But that part will be erected in this area.
Replaced in the same spot that it
Yep.
had been. All right,
The same footings, yeah.
all right, that was my questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Artie?
No, it's certainly what, what we were looking for the most part, so I'm fine.
Great. Bill?
I have no further questions.
Sue?
I think it looks great. I just have one question. How many decent trees are going down?
None. Only the burnt trees are going down.
Actually, that was my question as well. I need to know the total number of trees coming down.
Okay, I don't recall the exact amount off the top, but I think, I mean, everyone that has a number next to it. So I think that we said 10, but I'll get back to you on that. I mean, the plan went into the commission, so.
I think
Right.
the
And number
number-
6,
the
I
number-
think, was 3 trees, right?
It was a cluster of 3 trees, right? Yeah,
Okay, so maybe 13 coming down.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Peter.
Sorry, that sounded like 12 because it was 10, 11, 12. If 6 is 3, that's 2 more than was already accounted for.
Oh,
but-
right. You know what, these two, I don't have a number in, but those were like 4 and 6 inch diameter Norway maple. So those two were also going to be removed. And not to mention they're close to the house.
So 14 total.
I believe it's 14 total. Mark, does that sound about right?
I think Sue nailed it. Yeah, that's 14 total. But you add 2 for the clump of 3 and then those 2 small ones.
Mhm.
Is that an accurate number, Sue? It's not like many of these, like Mark was saying, are dead. Like number 3 is like basically a stump next to the burnt foundation, right? So I don't think we should count that as a tree, right?
So
Oh, number 3, yeah, I mean, it's the whole top is off. I mean, it's 8 feet tall, but it's just the bowl of a burnt out tree, basically, yeah. So I guess it's kind of up to the commission. And then up front, we were doing, I think that number 1, we were just going to prune it. So maybe Deb, maybe I can get back to you on the exact number.
Yeah, that's fine. I left a space in the order for that number when we get it.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have it right.
Yeah, I think it's just a total number of trees taken down, and then we can identify. And I remember out of that, there wasn't a huge number of healthy trees in that set. Most of them were the fire damaged trees.
yeah,
Yeah, they have wildlife value though. They're a tree. So, you don't have to require the 2-to-1 replacement for those, but they are trees in my opinion. But anyways,
so certainly looking at the plot and trying to work out where to put the trees, there are a lot of saplings coming up in that area. So there are 2-inch saplings already in quite a few places. Obviously, that's the natural order of things. A tree falls and something else grows into the light. So we're going to have to work out where to place the other ones to make the most sense. So obviously, we're not going to drop one on top of something that's already naturally growing.
Thank you. We appreciate your care. Any other questions about this? Steve, did you have any other?
No more comments.
All right. So in terms of the planting plan, I don't think anyone has any more comments. I think there was some discussion about leaving for one or for some of the fire damaged trees, certainly not to dig up the roots, but to leave some sections as snags, just for the purpose of wildlife value. I don't know if any commissioners have an opinion on that. Janet?
Well, I guess I'm looking at 7 and 9, and are those opportunities to leave snags at those locations?
So I would comment that certainly around 9, there are a number of trees in that section that we haven't shown on here. It's quite thickly wooded with trees and bushes, going off towards where it says 105.
So do you have to take 9
there's
down to the ground, or can I just cut up the top off?
we could certainly take it down to it as a stump. My major concern is having nothing fall on anybody.
Yeah.
I'm happy to.
So, but if you could leave, how tall is a snag that is appropriate?
Usually 8 to 10 feet.
So can you leave an 8-foot tall stump?
It'll be fun to cut it. Yeah.
And if it's all like burnt, I don't know.
Yeah, I think as some of this stuff will be, more experienced people than us in on site. If it's feasible, we'll definitely do it.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Yeah. So
I
the
think
two I'm looking at are 7 and 9 because they're within the 25 foot and they're kind of outside the fence. I don't know if others have a different opinion.
Yeah, personally, that seems appropriate, those two. Anyone else? Artie, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, certainly leave. I see no problem leaving an 8 or maybe even a 10-foot snag. I don't think it's per se a matter of if the people doing there want to leave it or anything like that. It's a matter of us saying that they are to be left that way. Because I mean, I certainly don't see any harm to any surrounding house or anything like that doing that. At the same time, the reverse is I see great benefit of leaving.
Great.
There's always benefit of leaving it. I see no harm in leaving.
Thanks, Artie.
You need to leave it.
Bill?
The only point that I would make
sorry,
just
Mark.
quickly on cutting trees is it's a dangerous profession, and if that tree is compromised, I don't want a guy 7 feet off the line, 7 feet off the ground, trying to cut it to leave a snag if it's endangering the person cutting it down. If it's not, then fine. That's
Any professional could easily do it.
I lived in Maine for 15 years, and my father-in-law is a lumberjack, and the concept of widowmaker is a constant suggestion. So I'm not going to second guess them. We will definitely try and do it, but if they have concern, I'll definitely bring it to your attention.
Thank you. Bill?
I do not have a further opinion on it.
Thank you. Sue?
Actually, I do have just one comment, is that I do totally understand those burnt out trees leave as a snag. Things are going to look beautiful, and I've been there. And as you look out, you want to see the lovely view. To see a burnt out 8 to 10 foot snag, I wouldn't. That would upset me, even though but you could still have snags on some of the other trees. It's just a black burnt out snag.
Yeah, though I think the idea of the snags is not attractiveness, it's wildlife value. These trees
Right.
are trees that we're expecting to rot over time. And so
Right.
they'll actually become less attractive in a kind of formal sense and much more attractive in a wildlife sense.
I'm just assuming that there'd be enough of the other, I've been there and I've seen the burnt out trees.
Mhm.
That there's enough other snags with the other trees that would be taken down. That's all.
Got it. Stephen? Stephen, any thoughts?
I'm all set, thank you.
Great. All right, so it sounds like where we're at is, but this is something that the commission will discuss when we talk about the actual order of conditions. That there doesn't seem to be any residual issues with the planting plan itself. And I think we're comfortable with the conditioning sort of on the spot or as part of the process of how the car gets removed within certain kinds of parameters. I think probably, and this is something we'll discuss, whether 7 or 9 become snags, but that's likely to become part of the order too. But Mark, as you mentioned, within reason, no one wants anything unsafe. All right, so are we ready? Are we actually ready to close this?
I move that we close the hearing for Brookside Road.
I second.
All right, I will go down in order. All in favor, Janet,
Yes.
Artie,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Sue,
Aye.
Stephen,
Yes.
Peter, yes. We have closed the hearing, and I guess we'll be working out the order of conditions. I didn't see a draft order. Is that something we still need to work on?
I emailed you guys the draft order
Oh, when did you email that?
not that long ago.
Aha. Okay, so we can look at that later.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
Deb, I sent you Mark's info.
Yeah, I don't think, did you give me his phone number?
Oh, no, I did not.
Yeah, if you could just send that, then I'll have it when I do the form.
Sure, yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Do you also need a hard copy of the final plan?
Yes, two,
Two.
if you could. And so you just want it sent to be recorded to the empty parcel.
I have a mailbox there, and I go every day, do some looking around, checking on it. So that would be great.
Okay, so you'll take care of recording it and getting the recording information back to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. All right, looks like Diane is here. So we can proceed to this, on the one hand, fairly straightforward, on the other hand, very complicated situation. So Diane, do you mind explaining what's going on?
Sure. So
Oh,
we
sorry.
have,
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I need to open this, right?
sure.
So I'd like to open officially. Open hearing for 391 Dedham Ave, DEP file number 2348X. Oh, does it have a DEP file number?
No, unfortunately, I wrote in and I don't know why, but they don't, they're not
Okay.
quite ready for us yet.
So we won't be
Waiting for-
closing.
Yeah, the fee, they said the fee, there was a question about the fee, though it was cleared on the 1st, and then they said they should have it soon though.
Thank you.
So,
So we and we're going to combining this notice of intent with a request for certificate of compliance for the
correct.
same property, DEP file number 234674. Okay, thanks, Diane. Can you explain what's
Sure.
happening?
So Diane from Field Resources, I'm here with the homeowners, the Chadwicks. I'm sure you can see them there. So in the process of filing the new order of conditions, there was some confusion as to whether or not this the original order was closed. We couldn't find anything at the registry, though Debbie thought it was possibly closed because I guess the way the filing system worked. Then once we realized that it was officially still open, Deb sent that off to us, or Clayton, I'm not quite sure, where we realized it wasn't the typical COC. So with that certificate, we were required to put a plan together that showed a deed restriction but with the deed restriction, obviously it's getting in a, you know, having the deed restriction written up, had it reviewed by an attorney, which we have it all together. It's just a function of getting it, the final version reviewed by an attorney. And I think Deb also sent something to help us as well. So with that, we did send the paperwork in for the COC, the plan, which reflects the stone markers with a restriction area. And again, if you, should I show the pictures? Can I share the screen with
Thank you.
you all?
Yes.
And let me just get in here. With that, we can see the, let's see, I have some pictures here. Okay, I'm sorry, this is the second portion of it. So we have some pictures that show the stone bounds and show the let's see, let me get down to the other. I always have such difficulty. See. So in our pictures that we have here, you can see the stone bound here. Let me enlarge that so we can take a look. So this is looking down the driveway. There's a stone marker right there. There's a stone marker sticking up here. With that, the line of vegetation is naturally vegetated beyond that. Again, we have the picture here, which show this marker goes down to well, there's one in between, but one here and then one down by the roadway as well. And again, you can see how it's how the vegetation, though it is mulched a little bit at the right off the lawn, but it's quite vegetated throughout or beyond that. So we do have natural vegetation has been maintained. The monuments have been maintained as the order requested. The Chadwicks that own the house currently were not the owners of at the time when this original order came through. They were unaware that the order was still open. But again, as you can see, they have maintained the monuments and the vegetation beyond that as a natural barrier to the wetlands and to Alderbrook. So again, we are currently getting the restriction reviewed by an attorney. I mean, I didn't want to send it out to you yet until the Chadwicks were comfortable with it. So we will have that for you. And again, with no DEP number, I know we weren't getting anywhere as well. But we will have that for you probably within the next few days for review. I'm sure legal counsel would want to review that. Is that the process for this? And again, I'm not, I'm assuming it wasn't just for your review, but also for counsel to review on that?
Right, yeah, we send them off to him for any comments.
Okay, okay. But again, the certificate of compliance also requested that 75% survival rate. Again, we have no idea what was planted because that was years ago and there's nothing to indicate that. We don't have, you know, we don't know what was planted. Along with the monitoring reports. Again, the Chadwicks were unaware of this being open, didn't or wasn't educated on the fact that it needed to be monitored, or even getting the plant list that was planted. So again, there's you know, those two exceptions for the certificate of compliance. So I'm not sure, you know, what questions the board has. I know Deb, you took a site walk out there?
I was out there earlier today. I did review the wetland boundary line, took a couple photos, confirmed the bounds were also in place as shown on Diane's photo. And did note that the areas beyond the bounds, beyond the limit of lawn and that limited mulching at the edge of lawn was pretty much just naturally vegetated. Does not look like it has been disturbed, and I did not see any grass clippings or other composting just dumped beyond. So
All right. So was this before we required planting plans? Um, so it's strange to me that there's not a record of what people proposed to plant back there. Were some of those white pines part of this?
Well,
I'm not sure I've seen the actual hard copy folder for this. I know that Deb and I have been working back and forth to pull some of these older documents. In our digital folders, I was able to read up on the application summary that was done back in 2013. Under that, it suggested that there was, it looked like a square footage count for invasive species removal and a square footage count for buffer zone enhancement plantings. So I'm led to believe that it might have been plugs, shrubs, and other seeding. But I don't have a copy myself of that original plan.
And obviously nothing was tagged, so we have no idea to track down what
I mean, I
what
saw
might have been flagged.
a couple flags. I think I saw two old tags on trees that were kind of close to the edge, but I couldn't really, I mean, decipher for certain as to what was planted.
Mhm. But the bounds were definitely put in and are working to actually constrain the restricted area. So so one assumes that they, in addition to putting those bounds in, they would have part of the mitigation was removal of invasives. Clay, does it seem pretty free of invasive species? I know it's early to tell.
It is early, and I did not look extremely closely, but there was nothing egregious popping out at me. I did not see any wild vines. I usually notice things like knotweed right off the bat. I did not see any of that. There might have been the things that would have missed my scope might have been a barberry bush here or there, but nothing certainly caught my eye back there.
So Clay, would you say that this is successfully revegetated, or that this actually would require a little bit more work to make it as best as it could be?
I think that it is successfully vegetated beyond the mulch beds. As shown in those photos, there was just a small couple feet of mulching kind of maintained at the edge of lawn, I think to separate lawn from the rest. The site also did receive partial certificate of compliance, which suggested that the plant installation had been completed. So without knowing what those plantings were specifically, at least in 2014, it was determined that they were installed. So I guess my staff recommendation is just that at this point it does seem vegetated, and that if you move forward with the new project, you'd probably be furthering some of those plantings, trying to take back maybe some of the areas within the 25 foot. So I think that it's reasonable to kind of roll over some of the new mitigation into a new order in this case.
So
Can I interrupt for one
sorry,
sec?
Deb, please.
I'm sorry. So the plan does say what the plantings were supposed to be. So I'll forward this to you, Clay, and maybe you can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Was there a minor modification for that, though?
Minor modification.
I believe there's a modification in there as well.
Okay. So what was the modification? Do you remember?
I don't know that I have a hard copy here, but I believe it was a function of the plantings, the types of plantings.
Okay, well,
And again,
did you get the plan, Clay?
Yep, I'm pulling it up now.
Okay, because that kind of shows the areas of the invasive species removal and where plantings were supposed to go. So there's two plans that I think it's the other one. Yeah, so if you look on the left. Yeah, keep going left. On the left of the, it has a list on the left. So that's what was proposed. And then if you look at the plan, it calls out the different wetland enhancement planting areas.
Mm-hmm.
And then it calls out also the areas that the invasive species removal is supposed to occur.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't have the restriction anyways, so maybe Clay and I could meet you out there and kind of go over the plan, and I'll see if I find any minor mods.
Yeah, I can send, I was just trying to look it up quick. I know I do have a copy of it. I was gonna try to grab that.
All right,
Um,
it may just be changes in the plantings, but
exactly.
the areas should be the same, and I'm sure it didn't negate all the plantings.
No,
It made
I think it
modification.
was just a modification in the types of plantings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, we do have that plan, which will be helpful.
Right. So again, it is naturally vegetated. I mean, you can see the plantings. I mean, the area is vegetated. I'm sure as long as they're natural native species, I'm sure you'd be satisfied with the area being planted. So, but with that, we do have the deed restriction all ready to go. And again, the area is vegetated as to the types of plantings that has not been determined. So
Yeah, so the question is whether to move to close out the COC or to just roll it over, and
mhm.
to take into account, given sort of the detective work you're able to do on site, take that into account and then continue mitigating, based on the new NOI.
And I think, yeah, like Debbie said, or Clay said, like the new NOI coming in, the homeowners have proposed additional planting areas beyond or within the lawn area prior to, so increasing that buffer to the wetland. So again, I think you will be satisfied, not just with what's currently there, but what we're proposing as well.
Okay, so is there any reason to actually go for the closing out the COC, or are you all comfortable rolling it over?
I think we're comfortable rolling it over as long as everybody's, once we get the restriction approved by both the homeowners, attorney that's reviewing it and your legal counsel as well.
Okay, so there's still some questions to be answered.
Mhm.
Awesome. All right, so that's one part of this, is just sorting out what actually was done, and how much of it survived. And the second part is the new NOI. Are we ready to move on to the new plan? Actually, let me run through the commissioners to see if they have any questions about the COC part first. Sue, any questions?
No questions.
Artie?
No questions.
Bill?
I'm just curious if the homeowners are willing to plant if plants are needed. I mean, if there's desire to, or if a need or request is made to do some shrubs, is there opposition to that?
No, not at all. If you wanted to issue a list, we'd be more than happy to plant whatever you see fit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Stephen?
No comments.
Janet?
Yeah, I think the plantings themselves are not going to be the issue. It seems to be that this conservation restriction is that what I heard? There's a conservation restriction that you're gonna get signed off on legal.
Correct.
So that seems to be the piece that we need before we can issue the certificate of compliance for that project. That the plantings will we can almost incorporate the plantings in the new project if necessary.
If necessary.
But we still need to close out that project, right? That is the goal, is to close out, issue a certificate of compliance for the original project. Once the conservation restriction gets ironed out, and then move forward. I mean, we're kind of in parallel moving forward with a new notice of intent. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, correct.
That works for me. Thanks.
Thank you for your clarification, Janet. All right, so we're ready to move on, I think, to the new plan.
Okay. So again, if I can share the screen with you all. Okay.
Yes, please.
Try that again. Okay. So again, Diane here with the homeowners for the new application that we have for the when the DEP number comes in, we'll have hopefully a new order of conditions. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. So again, the homeowners here are proposing to do some additional plantings as well as, oops, I'm sorry. I have a few screens open, as well as a two-tiered patio. Again, that goes in the
I think
back.
we lost you again.
Oh, you try it again. I don't know why. So the homeowners are looking to put the two-tier patio basically what's in the crux of the house behind the garage here. I'm just looking for the plan. So I'm sorry, I must not have that plan open. But the patio is going in the back here beyond. Let me, Clay, would you be able to pull that up?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Thank you. And again, the homeowners have the addition of a two-tier patio with a chimney, a walkway, the driveway strip, which is in the back over here. So when they pull out of the driveway, which currently they're from the last order, they have a mesh within the lawn area with a gravel pit at the end of that, which is capturing some of the runoff from the current driveway. So what we're proposing is a backup strip that with a trench drain that collects into this cul-de-sac. Additionally, we have the additional planting area that goes right along the current planting area. And then we have the patios here, two-tiered patios, a two-tier patio which has bench seating all around, which will keep all runoff from entering into the wetlands or the buffer zone over here, because we will have trench drains that will direct the runoff to the cul-de-sac, which is adjacent to the upper patio. We also have a walkway coming out, a paver walkway that comes out from the existing house, again, to the patio.
Sorry, Diane, this is Janet. Can I just interrupt for 1 second? I
Sure.
will just look at this plan and trying to follow what you said. And unfortunately, I haven't looked at it beforehand, so I'm just jumping in. So the existing house and the existing garage are not changing themselves. There's no new building. It's patio, a little bit of driveway, maybe
And a
more.
walkway.
And what?
This little walkway here
A little walkway
that connects the house.
That's what I was been trying to figure out. That's a walkway. And this dotted rectangle is your,
Infiltration.
that's the infiltration. Oh, there's two infiltrations. All right. All right, now I see it. Thank you.
And now this area here, the hatched area around the existing restriction area will be additional plantings, which we have a list of plantings on the plan as well for that area. Again, increasing, the buffer for the wetland, because primarily it's the wetland is, as you can see, that comes right along the edge of the or the edge of the current limit of disturbance for the property. And again, that's primarily why we have the restriction that we're trying to set up. So again, the proposed backup strip will, all runoff will be going into this cul-de-sac, and all runoff from either patio will be going into this cul-de-sac. Now, the alternatives that we have this as an oval shaped. Originally, the homeowner had it going back elongated towards the wetland, which brought it right to the edge, basically. So what we did is we shifted it to bring it a little bit further away from that limit of disturbance. And that's really about it for the project.
All right, so let me run around to see if people have questions. Sue?
I'm looking at the plan. The patio looks like it. How much of it is entering the 25-foot?
I didn't calculate that. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's, if we go over to the right, I don't have that number. Oh, let's see. Existing impervious within the 25. We have 85.6. The increase is 284.8.
There we go.
So there is an increase in that impervious. And again, and that's why we have, we're capturing all the runoff. There's going to be bench seating around the patio. So no runoff will leave that patio without being infiltrated into that cul-de-sac.
Are you good, Sue? Well, I think you're on mute. Sue, I think you're on mute. I see her talking. Sue?
Yep. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
So did you have any
Yeah,
other
I've kinda
questions?
Well, I'll pass. I've kind of lost some things here. Okay.
Okay.
I'll pass.
All right, Janet, any other questions?
So there's a line, I think it's a proposed erosion control line. That's not a wall, is it?
Correct. That's erosion control.
So no wall. So the circle that has a 206.1 and a 206, is that a new little patio? Little circle of patio? And then the other is the proposed patio. So it's like a
two-tiered patio. Yep.
Oh, it's two. Okay. Drop it down a foot. Okay.
Exactly. It steps down.
And any soil testing for the Caltech units?
Yes, they were out there today, and the soils did show the ability for, let's see, I did have that as well. The soils were acceptable for the recharge system, yes. And again, that will be coming into you as well.
And the material that the patio will be made out of?
That is going to be impervious. It's going to be natural stone, but set in an impervious setting.
Okay, was pervious discussed with the homeowners, and there was a reason to go impervious?
Well, the reason why we went impervious is because they were going to put bench seating around, so we could recharge the runoff easily and with that system. With the bench, again, it's going to be a bench seating all the way around, so it could be collected easily.
So I saw that you had a Zern collection. Is that what these little dots are?
Yes.
Are there multiple little?
Right, the little dots right on the low end of both patios.
Are the inlets for getting it to the recharge system?
Correct.
And how about the other one?
There's again on the plan, and I know it's hard to see, but there's a trench drain right along the backside here.
Okay, and then that's going to tie into the other system.
Correct.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Artie, any questions?
No, I think it's fairly straightforward. I think it's clear that, I mean, the homeowners have been pretty proactive, and Diane, you're probably proactive, making sure they're proactive as far as what's going on. So I think it's looking good.
Thank you. Bill?
No, actually, I think oftentimes proposals like this have a benefit and sort of creates an area outside to contain an activity, and I think it might be benefits that there'll be less disturbance over time with the surrounding wetland areas. So no, I like the plan. It's fine. Thank you.
Thanks. Stephen?
No comments.
Great. I have no comments either. Are there, is there anyone?
Can I ask one more thing?
Please.
I'm just kind of confirming that the lower patio is impervious, but it's within the 25-foot no disturb zone. So that's throwing me off a little bit. So I just want to make sure that we are talked about that. Does anyone have a strong opinion about allowing this patio in the 25-foot no disturb zone?
Now, this is a modification. So originally there was something even more sort of intrusive that went right up to the edge. Devin, Clay, did you help sort of help them see a different way?
Well, that was something, oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
I was going to say that's something I discussed with the homeowners. Again, originally, as you can see, as part of the design, it was an elongated type of patio. So I did suggest that we rotate it so it would stay further away. And I know Janet's concerned about the 25, but unfortunately, so much of this property, if you look at the way this house is designed, the back of the house is garage. So this is the main body of the house where the homeowners spend their time. So they're trying to get some living space in this area, and most, if not all of that, is in the 25. So it's a tricky lot, and it's like Bill said, I mean, unfortunately, the people do want to enjoy that lovely scenery that they have. With the bench seating, it will restrict them from going out that way and having to enter the yard in a different direction. So it could again help with any disturbance in that area besides the patio itself, which would be recharged. Again, any surface runoff would be recharged into the infiltration system.
I just want to make sure that we, I can appreciate why they want it. I'm just not convinced yet of that. This is something that this commission typically doesn't allow. So trying to have a good reason why we should allow it this time is something I'm personally struggling with. So
Janet, the main thing you're sort of really referring to is the pervious versus impervious, and let's call it mainly that secondary tier, that lower tier.
Yeah, the
And-
lower tier that's within the 25-foot no disturb.
So that's mainly where I think where you're talking about.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
if you're mainly talking about that, what would be what what is the issue with changing that to a pervious surface, for example? Then you don't have to worry about piping it back to the chamber, for example. Diane.
Okay. Again, I will have to talk with the homeowners and show them options for that. And again, we'll be back to you when we get the DEP number. So we can talk that over.
Yeah, we're
And-
happy to discuss that.
Yeah, if we need to change the type of stone to meet the need of the commission, then I'm happy to do that. No problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, we've had instances where areas that are lawn, we allow to remain lawn, but in the previous discussion for the house that had a fire, we were really trying to pull back away from the edge of wetland. And, this is, kind of getting closer. So, we just don't want to make this something that others are saying, oh, you let them do it over there. So understanding the criteria and what is good for the habitat. And I feel badly because I haven't focused that hard on this. So I'm trying to be like, okay, why is this an acceptable plan? And that
Sure.
patio in the 25-foot is tough to swallow.
Again, like the previous
Janet,
application.
Janet, normally I would be the one focusing on that.
I know, Artie, where are you?
And then we'd be questioning. So I'm glad that you reminded me of what I'm focusing on. And I think it's clear the homeowners are extremely understanding and want to make sure that everything's preserved here, and understanding of what might, probably a very minor change to a large extent, what we might want to bring that back to what we normally approve. And that way we're not putting ourselves in a position with approving something we don't normally approve, for example. So I think that makes a lot of sense, Janet.
Okay.
Janet, I agree with you. I mean, I think we should be consistent.
So we will talk about that type of material. And again, I do want to reiterate that we are increasing the buffer over here. So with the impervious, if we change this into impervious and the additional buffer, I'm sure it will be something that will be something we can get approved.
Yeah, I think once it's it's already lawn. So once it's a pervious patio, that's basically like lawn in my mind. That would make me more comfortable.
Okay.
Very good. Any other comments from commissioners? I know I've went through already. I'll just let you shout out. All right, so are there audience members?
We do have people in the audience. I don't see anybody raising their hand. If anybody would like to comment or ask questions, feel free to press the raise hand button in the Zoom app, and we can allow you to speak. At this time, I see no hands.
Very good. So, so just to reiterate what I think people are talking about. So number one, the commission is uncomfortable with impervious within the 25-foot, even though it's lawn. We'd like to see that pervious. We're also waiting on the legal process around the deed restriction. And then we'll contemplate what of the planting mitigation will sort of, once we figure out what was planted and what seems to have survived, what remains to be done in terms of the planting plan. All right, so move to continue.
Okay.
So moved.
Second,
All right, all in favor, Sue,
Aye.
Janet,
aye.
Artie,
Aye.
Bill,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
Peter is aye. So we will continue this to, well, we didn't say when to continue to. So continue this to, when is our next meeting? It would be the
April 22nd.
April 22nd. With no particular time, we'll still be meeting remotely. So hopefully we'll get some of these issues sorted out by that time.
We will. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
you.
Thanks, everyone. All right. So any other items?
So we're gonna have to review the Exhibit A for 94.
Before we do that, so you circulated a notice from Eversource, was that right?
Yeah.
Is that something that the commission needs to talk about, or that's just for your information?
Yeah, it was kind of a just for your information. The works within roadway. So it's pretty typical, I think. But I just wanted you to know about it.
Thank you.
And I just had a couple other things if you want to do that beforehand. Let's see. So Janet and Artie, you both wanted to sign up for the conference, which is going on now. Are either of you still interested in
Yeah,
doing that?
Yeah, I think the main thing is this Saturday. I think it's the, isn't it going on this week?
Is the conference, are all those classes gonna be whatever, so I can just, can we do it after the time? Or do we have to?
No, they need to send you a link to each one. They send it like the day before.
And then
So-
they're gone after that?
Oh, you mean, they may be up. They may,
Oh, for goodness, I totally forgot that it's not live. It's gonna be all remote.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know it's like over 2 weeks or a week. It started Monday. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm actually supposed to be doing one of them, but.
Yeah, I definitely wanna take part in some of them, be able to see some of them.
But we had to sign up ourselves. There was a form or something. I get confused.
So
about that.
Elisa sent you guys an email with their phone number. And
Oh, yeah,
that
we had to
seems
call
to
or
be the
something.
easiest way at this point to sign up. Just call and talk to Lindsay, I think is her name. And she'll sign you up for what you want, and you give her the PO number, I think, that Elisa gave you, and then it'll be paid for. So Elisa needed to move some money around, so I just wanted to make sure you were still interested.
Yes,
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
So we'll, so just go by her last email. I think she sent you a reminder.
See it.
Okay,
So if you have any trouble, just let me know.
Got it.
okay.
Two other things. Hank Half contacted me because they're going to be putting some electric car chargers in various properties.
Good.
And they're going to be putting a couple at my building at PSAB. And they're going to be on the side closer to the building, not towards the reservoir. He wanted to know if he could do that administratively or if we need him to file an RDA for permission to put those in.
Just to put the things in, not
Yeah.
new space.
No, just existing spaces, just to put the chargers in.
I don't have any problem. Anybody have any problem with it?
Okay, so
mean,
I can
probably-
just
you
give
probably
him.
keep running the wire under the reservoir or anything like that. I mean, just, you know,
No, not that I know of.
no.
And do you remember Heather Lane, how they're taking down all the trees to widen the driveway up to the subdivision? So Bill Piersack sent me an email because they were proposing the trees that they're going to be putting along there to mitigate for the ones they're removing. And they're proposing 32 red maple trees. So I think I recall during the hearing that we didn't want a monoculture of just like a line of red maple trees. So I told him that we were having our meeting tonight, and I double checked with you guys that you wouldn't be happy with that you would want more of a variety. So how are we feeling?
I'll go around to commissioners. Sue, what do you think about that? All red maple or a mix?
A mix.
Artie?
The only reason I would care at all is if it made the trees healthier, and I truly have no idea. So
Janet?
You know, I'm like, is it better for habitat to have a mix? Because I can imagine 32 red maples looking stunning. So
Yeah, that was his feeling, that it was gonna look nice, but
Yeah,
as
look
far as
really-
habitat value,
is it nothing for habitat? I mean, because if he says, okay, I'm gonna do a sugar maple and a red maple and a
he
whatever.
proposed 2 kinds of red maple. And he said basically, essentially, because they were gonna look nice.
Well, there you go.
is it healthier or unhealthier to do that? Anyone know?
And what was
Well-
he taking down? I mean, was he taking down pines or something?
There was a variety of trees they were taking down. I just remember during the hearing that we kind of wanted to add habitat value. So normally,
There was a variety coming down. There should be a variety going up. I mean,
Diver-
with Sue, mix.
Diversity is healthy.
right. Okay, so I'll tell him to at least put like 3 or 4 different types and don't put them all in a row. All right, so we'll go with that. Is that all I had? I think that's all I had. And just as far as the 25-foot, you know, it's like we let people put sheds in there if they're on blocks and they're not permanent structures, you know, and they have to be under a certain size. So just kind of throwing that out there as far as putting a patio in the 25-foot, which we've done very rarely. Just throwing that out there.
We did do one on Great Plain Avenue on that skinny house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but do you need a 2-tier patio or can you deal with 1 tier?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Okay. I'm in. I agree.
So I emailed you guys the exhibit A for 94 Brookside Road.
Every time I think of this one, I think Steve saying, why didn't we buy that? I'm like, why didn't we buy?
True. So I highlighted some things that I still need the information and just various conditions. So do you want me to add a condition about leaving snags?
Of all those trees, maybe they could leave 2 snags. And so maybe they didn't have to be the ones that we commented on if they can come up with 2 out of all the ones that they're taking down. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just throwing that out there.
I'd rather just say which ones, and if they can't, they have to come back with alternatives. Because they could say, well, I'm going to do this 2-inch diameter snag or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason why they can't be cut too.
There's no reason why they can't. No reason.
There isn't. And I mean, just about all the tree removals in our 25-foot buffer zone. So.
Oh.
So do you want me to say number 7 and number 9 leave as snags? And if for some reason it's not possible, then they have to come
Sure.
back to us?
Sure.
That. So I need to find out exactly how many trees are coming down. If we're accepting that they're going to plant 9 new trees and 12 shrubs, I don't think it really matters if we're calling out the burnt trees as trees or not. You know, it's not going to really matter because they're not putting in 18 trees at 2 to 1 anyways. So, you know, if you really want her to figure out which ones are dead, alive, and whatever, I don't think it matters in the end. But so I need to find out exactly how many trees are going to be removed. Let's see. Oh, so you have to figure out about the waiver because they're requested a waiver for working the 25-foot and a request to waive the waiver fee. So you have to decide if you think that's appropriate, if you want to lower the waiver fee or any of that. Oh, I did put in a special condition number 12 about the man-made debris located in the wetland and the buffer zone. Should be removed in a manner to create as little soil and vegetation disturbance as possible. So as far as removing the car.
Should we add anything about including cutting by hand? Should we emphasize that at all? I mean, why can't they cut it up?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much in the wetland. So then if they're using a saw or something with like oil and gas and whatever, I don't know. I can tell by your face that you're not impressed with my theory.
I know, I feel like someone's gonna go in there and cut it out and pick it up, or they're gonna wrap the whole thing up and drag it out.
Deb, is the car half buried?
Is it half buried? You saw Peter and Sue. Did it look to be buried?
Half buried.
Partially buried, you think?
Would you say, Debbie?
I think so. I don't think it was just laying on the surface.
So you're saying create as little soil and vegetation disturbance as possible.
Well, we want to get the thing out of there. If the engine block is half in the dirt, we want them to disturb whatever they have to get that engine block out of there, right?
Yeah.
We do, but it's a really steep slope down that side as well. So if you're dragging it up and disturbing it all, and then it rains, and then all dirt's going to flow down the hill into the wetland, which is right at the toe of slope.
I think it comes down to them. You know, we have pre-construction meetings already in the order of conditions, and I think you probably need to be very closely monitoring this, Deb, unfortunately, and they have to be aware that when the guys are first of all, they have to have a plan that you approve for moving it out. They really haven't decided how they're going to do it. And then I would suggest they have to give you 48 hours notice when they're going to do it, so that, you know, I would want you on site.
Yeah, I agree.
Do this.
I think you should be on site when they remove it.
Okay, so I'll add to that condition.
Yeah.
When they get to that point, I need 48 hours notice and need to be on site.
Yeah, I agree. That would be great.
And do we want any type of erosion control on the other side, or?
Yeah, I think again, it comes down to your judgment. I think if they're gonna, again, if they need to excavate a little bit because they have to, it's in the muck and it's really deep, they got to get it out of there. Again, based on your observations, you can discern whether they're giving you a line of crap or not. And if that's the case, maybe they had to put a row of hay bales or a silt sock around the whole thing.
Yeah.
If they,
because the safe is right in that area too.
Yeah, the safe should be really just sitting there. That should be real easy. You know, some kind of sled, or maybe there's again, they can get a couple of guys to manhandle it out of there. I don't know.
Okay.
God bless them for far out of there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we have that. They're also taking out cinder blocks, tires, wood, all that stuff. So we have that for a special condition. So the planting plan with the so we at some point I think need to discuss the monitoring reports, because Clay and I were talking about this the other day, and we literally just about never get the first one. So we either need to make it enforceable, or I think get rid of it altogether.
Well, I think we need a way to remember that we need them, so that come December 31st, we have set letters to everybody.
I know, but all we have really for administrative staff is Elisa, who's part-time for 5, different
Right.
things. So for her to send out reminder cards or call people is definitely going to be labor intensive.
Right, yeah. So like let's say we issue this today, and well, you have your pre-construction meeting, and they say, okay, pre-construction meeting. So otherwise, what happens? They ask for when they ask for their certificate of compliance, then they give us our report.
Then they say, oh, we didn't know, or the builder didn't tell us, blah, blah, blah. So then we say, okay, just have someone go look at it now and give us a monitoring report that goes along with the COC.
Is there a way we can issue a partial certificate immediately so that they can sell the house or do whatever they can do, and then require the full certificate to be like in a year? And that way they have to come back to us at some point, even if they forget when they sell the house, they've got to come back at some point. And that's when we would go out there and we would monitor it then. Like you do
That's
now.
exactly, we did do that, my neighbor across the street, exactly what we did and what was happening.
Yeah. And I mean, we also have a condition that they need to notify us within 30 days that they put the mitigation plantings in, so that we know when to start the 2-year.
Do they give us that?
Most of the time, not. Very rarely. So do you want to put for the condition for the COC that they need to request it within 2 years of the project completion, or want to change that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an opinion.
All right, we'll revisit this then, but just think about what we want to do with that, because it's kind of, either we make it, you can get fined if you don't do this, or, they need to be held accountable somehow if we really think that that's important. I mean, essentially the 1 year is to see how are things going. If all of these are dying off, you need to plant something else. So, if they come back in 2 years, didn't give us the 1 year, and we find that most of the stuff's dead, oh, well, then you don't get your COC, and we tack on another year or another.
Has this happened really mostly during the COVID period, or was happening before too?
Us not getting the monitoring reports?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never gotten them. The
Okay.
only person that does the 1 year is John Rockwood. That's it.
So
Okay.
is the idea that we would just not have annual reports, but they have to still monitor them for 2 years, so they can't get their certificate of compliance, they're full for 2 years, because we want to know that the plants are still alive in 2 years.
So we wouldn't have the 1 year monitoring, but we would require a report with the COC telling us what survived, what shape it's in. And then at that point we say, okay, you didn't meet the 75%. So now you have to plant, and you can't get your complete COC, for a year or 2 years, whatever you want to do. I mean, the 1 year is really for them, to kind of see if they're on schedule to get their COC, how they're complying with the condition.
Maybe it's what Steve had mentioned too, with the first year, maybe if it looks good with a good monitoring report, maybe a partial COC, and then the final with the second monitoring report, the final COC with the second final monitoring report.
That's kind of what we do now. We give them a partial.
Like usually the first partial is for the construction, like the whole project's done except for the 2 year monitoring period. And then they come back for the final then.
Right.
So,
I mean, I'm a way to kind of to get that monitoring, the first monitoring report submitted.
I
So
still
they
want-
know that.
Yeah, it seems like it should still be 2 years because you want to see that they are alive. But if they don't do the first year monitoring report and we never find them or anything for it, do we want to bother with the first year monitoring report or just say, look, in 2 years, they're either going to be alive or they're not going to be alive. And if they're not alive, you got to start over. I mean, is that the deal? Is that what you want?
well, either that or say, it's a condition, and if they're not meeting it, we can fine them. So would that make it more, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of it's builders, selling these houses, the people don't know, whatever. So if we make it a fine, then maybe the builders would be more likely to pass it on to the homeowners.
I mean,
I don't know.
some commissions utilize performance bonds. I know that's another layer and a headache, but at least there's
Mhm.
something there to monetarily either hold something up or bonds can't get released until documentation. Some leverage. I know it's another layer and another headache, but
But anyways, we don't need to figure it out tonight. I just kind of wanted to bring it up because Clay and I were talking about it the other day. So are you guys okay with the exhibit? Did anyone look at it?
I've been looking at it on my phone. So on this one, you have the fee. Is this what we normally say? You have, if they don't do it, that there's a filing fee. I mean, there's a fine in the amount of $200 if they don't do it. Is this new or is this what we usually say?
No, that's what we usually have
Okay.
that,
Okay.
but we've never actually done it. So
So do we have to also vote on whether we have to vote on if we approve this? We also have to vote on whether we're waiving the 25-foot disturbance as well as waiving the filing fee.
correct. So you should do that first and then issue the order.
I would certainly make a motion to allow the work in the 25-foot no disturb zone.
Second.
You're on mute, Peter.
Now I'm not. Okay. So I will run around. Okay. All in favor. Artie?
Aye.
Sue?
What are we voting for? I didn't hear what Artie
yeah,
said.
I need another someone to say what the motion
This is-
is.
I'd rather waive, but I'm not sure what Artie said.
This
I'll
is
make a
to allow
motion.
work within the 25.
Work.
Oh, yes.
Where were we? Janet?
Yes.
Bill?
I'm sorry. Is this to allow work within the 25 or?
Yes.
Yes, allow work.
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're allowing work. The question of waiving the fee, did they request to waive the fee?
Mm-hmm.
And what's your opinion? Is this going to take a lot of work? I mean, they're doing
He has to
planting.
watch the entire thing get pulled out of the mud.
I think this is a significant amount of work that's in a benefit of the commission and our mission. So I would very much support waiving the fee.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay. So let's do a formal vote. Motion to waive the fee?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
I second.
All right. So go around. Sue?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Janet?
So we're waiving the whole fee, huh? Okay.
I think it's an
Aye.
incredible amount of work you're doing.
But they also got a lot of what they wanted.
They got a lot.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot. She has to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They did have a house burned down, but they have an amazing view of a wetland.
And they made sure of that by not putting trees in.
Yeah. But typically we waive the fees when they're planting.
They're planting, they're putting part of the infiltration in that area, and removing the debris.
All right, yes, I say yes.
Okay.
Phil,
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
All right, yeah, I'll say I too, because most of it is they're doing things that we want them to do in the 25, but you're right. I'm sorry for the amount of work getting that car out is gonna take.
Well, Pete, you know, Deb is not actually going to take it out herself, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know that yet. I don't know what their plan is.
I'm gonna bring my puppy with me and I'm gonna hook him up to it. And he's gonna drag it up there, just like in Dr. Seuss. Right?
Come to watch.
He's all for it. And he'll be supervised by our lizard and we'll take care of it.
Well, perfect plan, yes. All
Thank
right. So now on to the order. So people had a chance to look at it. It was emailed. There are, as Deb said, there are a number of highlighted things that we just don't, that we need to be filled in, mostly numbers of trees.
Yep, and I'll add the condition about the
7
leaving
and
the
9.
snags.
And then,
And having you on site during the removal. of the
Yes,
car.
sorry. Yep.
right, in addition to just, they need to do it in a way that doesn't disturb as much as
Mhm.
possible. And then the planting plans with the trees and the blueberry bushes. And yeah, so that was really the only really special things. Okay. Any other thoughts about this one?
Seems okay.
All right. So if so, motion to approve.
So moved.
All right, I'll go around. Sue? All in favor? Sue?
Aye.
Artie?
Aye.
Janet?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
Me? I will issue this order of conditions. All right. Will there be materials waiting for us in a garage?
My car is
There
in the
will be.
garage at the moment.
Uh-oh.
You'll have to put it on the back of the car. But that's fine.
Okay, but it's unlocked, the garage?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna be in Needham tomorrow, so I will put them there for you to sign. So all we have is 94 Brookside. So
I
I'll
won't
put
be able
that
to
there.
sign for a week, so if you don't need my signature. Steve, are you around or not around?
I'm around.
You're in Needham?
I'll sign it before, I'm leaving on Saturday night, but I'll sign it Friday or Saturday morning.
Okay,
Did
so
we,
I'll email when it's in there, so you know when to go by.
Deb, did we need to sign off on the minor modification for the last hearing? That I can't remember.
No, you don't sign anything
Okay, so that just
for
got
that. It's
approved.
just, yeah, it's just.
That
a
was
what.
just approved in meeting. Okay. Great.
Yeah. So Janet, once again, don't spend too much. Just get me something small.
Something small, you got it.
Okay, cool.
Janet, where are you? Overseas?
In Puerto Rico,
Nice.
Oh.
yeah. So I have
Yeah.
nothing,
I'm
a little-
jealous. Very
I'm a
jealous.
little flustered, so sorry.
Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
have fun.
Thank you all. So motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Janet.
Bye.
Bye.